What is going on, YouTube? Joe here with Culination Media, and welcome back for some more live Pokemon Showdown. We're doing our OU session today, and let me just X out of this other battle that I had. Yeah, moving on. Let's get back into the right battle here. This is a great way to start off the this part. But anyway, this is probably going to be the last part of the session. I know it's only part number 2, but I'm just not really a big fan of OU. I don't like to play it a lot. I was just kind of messing around using somewhat of a silly team. Somewhat of a silly team. I only say silly because I've got a Magneton and a Magnezone, but it actually works pretty well. And there's also going to be a suspect test coming up for OU, and I kind of want to do a little mini session on that as well, so I don't want to just burn myself out on OU content. And I know a lot of you guys are not super big on the OU stuff anyway, so, but it's just a nice change every now and then, basically is what I'm trying to say. So let's get into the battle here. This is a pretty threatening team. I see the Mega Gallade. Garchomp looks like it could be a lead here, just because they tend to be more defensive. Like there was a time in the meta where Scarf Chomp was everywhere, and now it's more common for them to be more defensive and a rock setter. They like to spam Dragon Tail, which did not used to be standard on Garchomp at all. I see the Keldeo. Those are almost always choiced in some fashion. I see him Scarfed, see him Specs. Specs is the most common set, so we'll need to watch out for that. Talonflame, of course, is always a threat, but it looks like if we can get rid of that Latios, he won't have any way of getting rid of our hazards. So we'll have to watch out for that, for all of those things. I feel like I say I have to watch out for things all the time. I need to find something else to say. Find a new catchphrase. So he is going to lead off with the Latios, actually, which is kind of interesting. I wonder if he's going to have HP Fire. That'd be a little bit scary. Be a little bit scary indeed, but we will be able to get up our hazards and then Brave Bird this thing, as he actually goes for Psyshock, and he shows off the Life Orb, possibly predicting a switch there into Azumarill. I really had no reason to switch, or maybe he just thinks that I'm Custat based on my team, and if that's the case, that's actually a very astute observation on the part of my opponent. But I'm just going to set up spikes then. If he's just going to keep Psyshocking, I'm going to set up as many hazards as possible. And then if he defogs, I can Brave Bird him. He's going to Psyshock again, and he's going to let me set up spikes. And now I want to click Brave Bird, because if he defogs, I'm going to most likely kill him after that Life Orb recoil. So I'm not too worried. Unfortunately, that will mean that we won't have hazards, but we'll get rid of Latios. As he goes for Psyshock again, so he's going to put us in Custat range, but we actually kill ourselves due to the Brave Bird recoil. But that did a lot of damage to this thing, to the point where he only has one Life Orb hit and he can't switch back in. So he basically has to sack it at this point. He has no other way of moving hazards. I could not get that word out. Removing. I don't know what I wanted it to be. Mooing? I'm not a cow. I'm definitely not a cow. We're going into Azumarill because we can just pressure it with an Aqua Jet. There's really no reason for him to switch, like I said. He has no way to remove those hazards, and this Latios would just be dead coming back in. So we've effectively kept our hazards up on the field. I don't know why he's going for Psyshock, though. Like, I don't understand why he kept going for it. It wasn't like he was locked in, unless that was his best move to hit me with, but, I mean, it hits on the physical side, so of course it's not going to do much to Skarmory. That's with 0 defense IVs, too. Like, I zeroed out the IVs in defense so that I could get down to my sturdy effectively. But anyway, that's just because Skarmory is just naturally super fat on the physical side, I guess. But we'll go for the Aqua Jet. That's going to remove this Latios, which actually could potentially be a big problem for the team, especially if it was carrying the HP Fire. But I guess it wasn't, because he just likes Psyshock. I don't know. He's going to go into Garchomp now, and this is not a switch. This is not a switch in, because you can't kill me at full health, and I can just play Rough You. And unless you're defensive, yeah, you're gonna die, especially after all that hazards damage. So unless you're really heavily invested into your HP, which is possible, he is gonna set up Stealth Rock here, and he does take that. Wow, that has to be defensive Garchomp. There's no way he's taking a play rough from Adamant Max Attack Azumarill. I'm just gonna double check to make sure my EVs are still there, and they are. So yeah, that had to be defensive Garchomp. But unfortunately, he is able to get up his Stealth Rocks. It doesn't hamper my team too much, just because, you know, the Magnet Core doesn't really care about Stealth Rocks too much. Latios kind of does, but we're not taking that Life Orb recoil because we're choiced. so that helps, and we can just go for an Aqua Jet. It's unfortunate that we have to take all that extra damage from the Rocky Helmet and the Rough Skin. Why am I pronouncing words so weirdly today? Rough Skin. What is wrong with me? I don't know. This is what happens when I play OU. That's a lie. I mispronounce words every day, regardless. So I would assume he's going to go into probably Bisharp, if I had to guess, because it does naturally outspeed, and he can just go for Iron Head. The threat of a knockoff will keep me from wanting to switch in something like one of my Magnet Pokemon. Have to see. If he does bring in the Bisharp, it might be in my best interest as I'm like choking. Of course! We're getting all the good stuff in this video. Choking on, I don't even know what I'm choking on. Mispronouncing words. What else normally happens? We need some hacks going on. That'll just make this a classic Joe video. Yeah, I think if he does go into the Bisharp, I'm just gonna Aqua Jet it for damage. I don't really need a Azumarill because it is weakened. The Keldeo is still gonna be able to kill us, even though we are Assault Vest. I don't think it's gonna save us because we'd have to take rocks coming back in. So realistically, at 31%, are we going to be taking hits from a Keldeo? Probably not. Probably not. So he does go into the Bisharp here. If we can get Aqua Jet damage plus the Life Orb recoil, that is probably pretty likely. That can help weaken this thing a lot. And then we can trap it with one of our magnets and kill it off, I guess. But I will go for the Aqua Jet. It does 32%. He goes for Iron Head. He does show off the Life Orb. So all of that damage does bring him down to 40%, which is great. I could go into Haxorus here as well. Go for a Dragon Dance on the predicted Sucker Punch. And see if I can play some Mind Games here. And then finish him off with an EQ. But I feel like that's a little bit risky. But again, if I go in with Magneton, he's just going to click Sucker Punch. And I'm going to take all kinds of damage. To be fair, I don't really need Haxorus as much as I need Magneton. Like, I really want Magneton healthy just to be able to take on Talonflame. Because even though we have the Stealth Rocks up, we still need to hit it to kill it. And everything else kind of takes a butt ton of damage. So, do I want to click Dragon Dance, predicting the Sucker Punch? I kind of do. But I don't know if that's going to get me anywhere, because if I mispredict there, I'm in a lot of trouble. So I do just have to click Earthquake here. That's the safer play for me. His Sucker Punch will not kill me, I don't think. It shouldn't. Shouldn't kill me from that range. And he actually predicts me to predict the Sucker Punch and goes for either Iron Head or Knockoff, likely Knockoff. And we're able to take him out without getting any damage, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, what are you going to go into? You're not going to go into Glade because I naturally outspeed that before you Mega Evolve. Probably Keldeo would be what would be coming out here, I assume. Unless he has like Will-O-Wisp on his Talonflame. That'd be the only reason to bring it in here. But even still, I can kill it if he Willows me. Because I could just outrage him. And, you know, at 51%, Talonflame will still die even though I'm burned. And I wouldn't be burned anyway because I am carrying a Lumberry. I don't even know my own sets now. That's what it's come to. It's taken a long time to think about this move. But he is going to go into Keldeo, which in my opinion is the best play that he could have made at this point. And I'm assuming he's going to go for either Secret Sword or Icy Wind, depending. I could switch in Latios on that predicted Secret Sword. So Icy Wind would be a pretty decent play. I think I'm just going to Outrage here, because I really don't need Haxorus for much. The only thing it does for me is outspeed Glade before it Mega Evolves. He actually goes for Scald. He does get a burn, but we do have the Lumberry, and we just kill it in one hit with an Outrage. I don't think that was a good play. What was he predicting there? Possibly predicting him to go for an Icy Wind and switching out like Magneton or Magnezone. But no, he would have went for Secret Sword if that was the case. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't understand that play. Never mind. Never mind. I thought maybe I had an idea of what he was predicting, but I don't. I really don't. I mean, maybe he was just going for the burn, just fishing for it. But even still, he would have taken all kinds of damage, even if he was able to burn me and I didn't have that Lumberry. So I don't know how I feel about that, especially because Keldeo can do a lot of damage to things like Magneton and Magnezone. So, oh well. I guess we don't need to just spend the entire time questioning his plays, and he did just kill me with a Brave Bird, and he takes the recoil, which means we are for sure going to be able to kill him with either a Volt Switch or a T-Bolt, or basically whatever we want to go for. I could probably even go for Flash Cannon and kill him from there, to be completely honest. But he doesn't have any immunities or anything, so I should just click an electric type move here. I mean, he can't switch out. The worst that he can do is Roost. So I'm just going to Volt Switch. Because if he does Roost, I will go into, I guess, Magnezone, since that's going to be my least useful Pokemon at this point, because Gallade will outspeed it. We want to save Magneton. So the goal is to not take any damage. He does go for the Roost, actually. So that was a good play. But yeah, it really wouldn't have mattered if I went for T-Bolt. And the reason I didn't want to go for T-Bolt there is because I don't want Magneton just stuck in here locked into a move when Gallade comes out, because he's just going to go for Drain Punch. We're going to outspeed him, hit him with the Thunderbolt, do decent damage, and he's going to Drain Punch and get all that health back. I don't want that, because that Gallade can win in the match. This Talonflame is just more of a nuisance than anything. Now he's in a position where he needs to either kill me with a Flare Blitz, or he needs to... I mean, he can't switch out. He cannot switch out because he'll just die coming back in. It's really no point. That's just going to take unnecessary damage. I don't think he's going to want to do that. He's not in the best of positions here, because if he roosts, I just kill him. Because this is Specs, so you're not going to be taking a hit. Talonflame is not bulky enough for that. I highly doubt he's running a specially defensive set, just because he was able to take out Haxorus from like 88% or whatever, and he does just go for the Flare Blitz. He actually survives the recoil there, which I kind of thought he was going to die to that, but he does hang on with 8%. And now we need to make a decision here. I mean, there really is no decision. My only play is Magneton. If I go into Latios, I take another Brave Bird, and that's not going to be fun. I would like Latios to be at as much HP as possible, because it does wall the stabs of Gallade. Doesn't like a knockoff so much, but there's always the chance that he doesn't have it, depending on what his set is. And now I really don't have a choice. I have to T-Bolt, because if he roosts and I don't kill him with a Volt Switch, yeah, he is going to roost, so he's just going to die to a T-Bolt, so that's perfect. Because if I Volt Switched again, and then I am in with Latios, then if he Brave Birds me and I stay in, then Latios is down and I lose the game. And if he predicts Magneton to come in and goes for Flare Blitz, then I also lose the game. So didn't want to put myself in that position. It really just wasn't worth it. It would just become a 50-50, and I feel like I played well enough in this battle to not have it come down to a 50-50, if possible. So he's obviously going to Mega here, and I really don't know what kind of set this is. I mean, looking at the rest of his team, it kind of looks like it could be an SD set. I'm really not sure, but either way, I'm going into Latios here. And he is actually going to show off the close combat, so he does not have the Drain Punch, or he likely does not have it. And now with his defenses dropped, I can just hit him with a Psyshock to hit him on the physically defensive side, which he does gain some bulk when Mega Evolving, but I don't think that's going to save him here. I am modest, so that is going to be the game. We get a critical hit. I don't think that mattered at all. And where are we on the ladder? 1477. It's not bad. It's not bad. Still rather low. I mean, I don't even think we are in the top 500 at 1477. But we're not at the very bottom either, so that's something. I guess we can look for one more battle. I mean, that was about 14 minutes or so. About 14 minutes into this recording. We can go for one more. Why not? Since this is going to be the last episode, or last part of this very short session, we might as well at least make the best of it. I'll try to make it around a half an hour in that range. So we're finding a battle here, but Showdown is lagging because the servers are just garbage lately. I swear, they really need to upgrade. There's always lag, like even in places where I have great internet. So this is a very, very standard team. Look at this team. My goodness. So again, it looks like the only support for Talonflame as far as hazard control is going to be that Latios, so we can get rid of that. We'll be in a good position. He is going to lead off with the Landorus, which cannot really touch me outside of Stone Edge. He's probably just going to U-turn or set up rocks here. So I'm going to do what I do in every battle with this team, and that's just set up hazards. Because that's what playing offense is about. The first part of it is a little bit mindless. You just do the same thing regardless of what your opponent has, basically. There are some exceptions to that, of course, but most of the time, you just click Stealth Rock or Spikes. And he's going to switch right into the Talonflame, predicting those rocks, I guess? Why did he not U-turn? Maybe he doesn't have the U-turn. That's unusual to see a Landorus hard switch like that, unless it's really afraid of something, like a Scarf Ice Beam or something. But clearly, I'm not Scarf Ice Beam Skarmory. Or maybe that isn't clear. I don't know. I do not know. But we are going to set up some spikes here. I'm not really afraid of this. He's going to set up. Okay. This is OU. This is what they do. They come in on turn 2 and try to set up Swords Dances and win. That's not going to work because it's just not. It's just not happening. He goes for the Flare Blitz, so he's going to take all kinds of recoil, and then we're going to whirlwind him out. So when he comes back in, he's going to be at like 23% of his max health, so he'll only have 1 hit left, which is great. Landorus comes back out, takes the Stealth Rock damage, which is great. And let's see. I do have my Custap here, so I could Brave Bird this for some damage. But given the fact that I'm at -1 and this is a Landorus, I feel like it's just not going to do much. I think it's probably best to just set up another Spike here. Even though the chip damage on Landorus would be great, the extra chip damage from the spikes on things like Azumarill and Heatran will probably help me a little bit more. So yeah, we'll get up those spikes, and he does show off the U-turn, so I don't know why he didn't go for that before. I'm really not sure what the hard switch was about. I'm trying to think. I must have missed something. I don't know. I miss something all the time, so that's really not that unusual. We'll see what he wants to go into here. Maybe Latios? Yeah, he's going to go into the Latios, try to get a Defog off, which would be a bit unfortunate, to be honest. But, let's see. Let's take a look at his team and think, is this likely to be Scarfed? I don't know that it is. In fact, that Landorus might be Scarfed, because we didn't see lefties on it, did we? Trying to look in the small text here. Pointed stones dug into Landorus. No, I didn't see lefties. That could be his Scarfed Mon. So this is probably going to be Life Orb, which means we are relatively safe going into Latios. If he is Scarf and he's timid, we're in trouble. I mean, unless he just outspeeds and goes for a Defog, in which case it's not the end of the world because we're going to kill him with a Draco. But, yeah, I'm just going to go for Draco here. And if he leaves this in and he's not Scarfed, he's dead. Which means hazards are staying up and Talonflame's going to have issues, and we're going to be able to wear down things like Landorus that normally take quite a few hits to bring down. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. This is an important part of the match right here. He could hard switch as well. I mean, he has to think that I'm Scarf if I'm bringing it in. Unless he really thinks that I am the type of player that's just intentionally going for the speed tie. He has to know I'm Scarfed. Or at least that I'm trying to bluff it. Yeah, he is going to go into Heatran. I think that's a smarter play on his part. And that does a whopping 21%. He took about as much from the hazards as he did from the Draco. Shows off the lefties. It's probably especially defensive Heatran. A lot of them are. He's probably going to go for rocks here. So I'm very tempted to go right into Magnezone, trap him, and go for a Hidden Power Ground. If he's fully specially defensive, he can still take a hit. Because Heatran is just stupid bulky. I kind of want to save Azumarill though. Because it can kill lots. Or I could go into Haxorus actually. If I want to predict rocks, I can go into Haxorus. Yeah, let's do that. That's a better play. It's a better play. I don't... No, it's not. I'm gonna go in... Oh, never mind. It brought me into Haxorus anyway. I was so indecisive right there. That was terrible. I really need to, like, just commit to a decision. I was trying to think what the safer play was. I canceled it and was gonna pick Magnezone. But Showdown decided we're going into Haxorus. So he did go for the Lava Plume, actually, not rocks. And I'm relatively safe going for a Dragon Dance here. Because, I mean, the worst possible thing that can happen is that he goes right into Talonflame, and I don't think he's going to do that. If anything, he might go into the Landorus for an Intimidate. If he goes into a Azumarill, that's just going to die to a Poison Jab. So he does go into the Landorus, get that Intimidate off, and we should outspeed now unless he is Scarfed, which is possible. I'm just going to go for an Outrage, I believe, try to get some damage off. I don't know if he can kill me if he is Scarfed. Not sure if an EQ would be enough. Would do a lot. Guess we'll have to see. Nope, we do outspeed him, and he actually takes that Outrage and takes us out with an EQ. So maybe he is not Scarfed. So that Latios could be Scarfed. I don't know. That's interesting. We are at a point here where he's not going to be able to switch out that Landorus and come back in unless he gets rid of the hazards. So we can essentially just force him to sack it by going into a Azumarill. And I mean, if I really want to predict him to try to get that off, or get the Defog off, I could go for, I guess, Play Rough. But it really makes no sense. The best play that I have here is to go for the Aqua Jet and attempt to not take any damage off on this Azumarill. So, yeah, he's going to leave his Landorus in, and that's going to go down, which is fantastic because that means he doesn't have any more Intimidates. Not that it really matters because at this point it only really affects my Azumarill, but still, I'm actually somewhat surprised that Landorus took a neutral Outrage from an Adamant Haxorus. I wonder, I mean, that had to be a damage roll. I just don't know if I got a higher roll and just barely missed the KO, or if I got low rolled or what. I would have to calc it, but I still don't really know what his set was because he wasn't lefties. So I'm not sure. Maybe he was banded? I really don't know. I don't know what that thing was. But Latios is going to come out here. He is going to get a Defog off if he has it. I can't stop him now. And that's the downside to bringing in a Azumarill and going for the Aqua Jet there. But I felt like that was the right play. He is going to go for the Defog, and he's also going to die. So he has to sack his Latios just to get that Defog off. Talonflame is not the worst thing that could happen to my team because I still have Magneton healthy, which means I can still just kill it with a T-Bolt, especially because it does have some prior damage off on it. So it's not the end of the world, but those spikes and everything would have helped against things like Azumarill. So, yeah. Because I don't know if it's Assault Vest, if it'll be able to take a T-Bolt from, like, Magnezone. It definitely will from Magneton, but we'll have to see. We shall have to see. I don't want to stay in because this is a Mega Slowbro, so I am going to go right into my Magnezone as he shows off the Scald, actually, and that does so much damage. That did 62%. And he gets the burn, which means we have limited turns here. Because Landorus is gone, he doesn't really have much of a switch into this. I can lock myself into T-Bolt if I wanted. Kind of tempted to just Volt Switch though, because he's probably going to bring in Heatran, but I probably should try to get off as much damage as I possibly can. Because, yeah, I just should. I mean, at this point, Magnezone's not taking a hit anyway. So, T-Bolt does 49%, and we get the Paralysis, which doesn't mean anything, really. I mean, unless he was speed invested, which I doubt, because it is lefties. So I will just go for another T-Bolt, I guess. Because I can take another turn of burn and then come back in later if I wanted to. If I need to pull a switch, use Magnezone as fodder. That's looking like my best play. I mean, do I really want to switch in something else on a potential like Lava Plume and get burned, or have him set up rocks or something? I don't really want that. So I'm just going to remove this. He can't switch because of Magnet Pull. So I guess he's just sacking his Heatran at this point. And he actually outspeeds us and is paralyzed and can't move, but we kill him. Why? I don't understand why he outsped me there. I must have missed something. I mean, even if he was Scarf, he's paralyzed, so he doesn't outspeed me. So I don't know what's happening there. I don't know. I must have missed something, but it's not registering at the moment. If you know what happened there, feel free to put it in the comments, and I'll smack my head and say "dolt," because, yeah, I always miss things like that. So Talonflame is here, and I guess I have to sack this. I mean, it one-shots Slowbro. That's why I kind of want to save it, even though it's at 1%, because I outspeed and just OHKO it. But we do have Magneton for that. Although I don't think I can OHKO it, it can still do a lot of damage. So he's just going to Flare Blitz, which probably was his best play. He doesn't want me getting a safe switch into Magneton, so that's understandable. And we can go into Magneton now, because he has no switch-ins. He has 0 switch-ins. If he goes into a Azumarill, that's going to be easily 2-hit KO'd, most likely. Slowbro will get 2-hit KO'd. And if anything, his play here would be to predict a Volt Switch and Roost if he has that. That would probably be the best play that he could possibly make, but he could be choiced. Wait a minute, no, he's not choiced. Didn't he go for Swords Dance at the beginning of this? And we whirlwinded him out with Skarmory? I think that was this battle. I've been seeing so many Talonflames that they're all blending together. Pretty sure he has SD, so never mind. Never mind about him being choiced. Just forget what I said. And he does not Roost, he just lets me kill him with Volt Switch. So Talonflame is out of the way. So the only priority we have to worry about is Aqua Jet, and our own Azumarill and Latios both resist that. So in that respect, we're kind of in a good position. Kind of at a 50-50 here. If he goes into Slowbro, Latios can hit it with a lot of damage with a Draco. If he goes into Azumarill, my own Azumarill will probably be better for that to get some damage off. But I'm going to go Latios here. If he does go Azumarill, it's probably in my best interest just to Psyshock it. Or no, maybe I should go into Azumarill if he goes into his own. Just because my Azumarill cannot do anything to that Slowbro. Like, it's just dead weight. So if he has Calm Mind, he can set up all over me. And I don't really like that so much. So he does choose Azumarill here. What do I want to do? How do I want to play this? That Slowbro could be a serious problem. Because I really don't need... I just need damage. If I get damage, I can kill it with a Thunderbolt. Or even a Psyshock. Yeah, I mean, because Bunnies is looking pretty useless over there. But I have a chance to beat this Azumarill one-on-one, too, with my own Azumarill, especially if I get prior damage off. I don't know that I want to rely on Draco to win me the match when I have a Magneton. So I should be able to take a Scald from it, I would think. I hope. I really hope. We'll see what he does. I don't want... The other thing is I don't want to switch and have him go for Belly Drum. So I think Psyshock is my best play, just because I think he's going to Belly Drum. And there's the Citrus. There's the Belly Drum. Thank goodness. Thank goodness I stayed in. I was so tempted to go into Azumarill, and I may have just lost if I did that. He does not... He can't kill me at +6 with an Aqua Jet. So you're just dead. You're just dead. You can get some chip damage off. And that's pretty much going to be game, honestly. Unless he really can pull something... Pull something special with his Slowbro. Now, he has to know that I'm locked into Psyshock because he hasn't seen... Oh, never mind. Never mind, he's just going to forfeit. I mean, if he was Calm Mind, he could, you know, predict me to have to switch there, go for the Calm Mind, and try to take some hits. And he had a chance to bring that back, actually. So I don't know what I was saying about that being in the bag. But I probably, I mean, if he wasn't Calm Mind, I could just sack Azumarill and then go into Magneton and win. So I guess it really depends on what his set was. But anyway, he's going to forfeit, so we get up to 1495 on the ladder, and that's going to be it for this session. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Next time, I don't know what the tier is going to be. I might do the suspect test for OU when it comes out. Might do something different. I may do a couple of things at once. I don't really know, but I hope you guys enjoyed the session. If you did, make sure you're leaving a like rating and a comment, or whatever you would like to do, of course. And I will see you all next time. And until then, game on.